Ah, yes, we had just got back from Utah 2 days ago, and it's awesome experience. For those of you unaware, keep it very straightforward and to the point. I say I want to play basketball, and I'll put out there on social media and on Instagram and wherever. If you got a tournament, invite me. I'll show up and play. Contingencies are that it needs to be a tournament, so I actually have games to play because I don't want to fly somewhere for one game. And secondly, if I'm flying that far, I want to make sure I'm on a team that I'm going to play. Doesn't mean the team is bad or good or in between. Just make sure we don't have like 14 people and I'm one of those 14 people, because if I'm flying that far, I want to play. Makes sense. So went out to Utah. We were guaranteed 3 total games. First 2 games are for seeding. The second 2 are for tournament. So the first 2 games, win or lose, not really that important. More about understanding who you're playing with. The next day it gets really competitive in terms of making sure the entire game we're trying to win. You might say, well, what about the previous games? I'll talk about that in a second. But basically, when you're in that setting and situation with a brand new team of a bunch of guys who just got thrown together really quickly, you want to win, but you also want to realize how you can win. And so you might try things out and figure things out as a team and realize, okay, well, maybe this makes a little more sense or that makes a little more sense, and we'll do that come tournament time. And also towards the end of the game, if we're losing and it's probably out of reach and seeding doesn't really matter, let's have other people take shots and do other things, because we're all there to play basketball, not just try and win every single game to the highest degree, especially when they don't matter that much at that time, like the first games for seeding. So massive shout out to Backcountry Containers, because I put this out there and I said, I want to go travel, I want to play, I want to go in front of people and play. I don't want to just go to like a YMCA, a local LA Fitness, wherever. I want to go to a tournament and show up and play. I need footage. I need exposure. I'm willing to fail. And Backcountry Containers said, you know what, Max? We got your travel and lodging. We got you covered. I was like, are you kidding? Really? That's unbelievably amazing. So they covered my travel, made this all possible. And the travel was an absolute, not their fault. The travel situation, because snow in Denver, became a nightmare. Supposed to fly out Thursday. Games are Friday, Saturday. Fly home Sunday. Thursday, getting ready to go to the airport. 10 minutes outside the airport, I get a message saying my flight is basically canceled. I can get another flight that day in another state, technically. And so I was like on the phone with United trying to figure out how to get this other flight rebooked Thursday. So I'm driving to the other state on the phone. The other state's on my way to the house, on the way to my house where I live. So it's not like horribly crazy. So I'm calling, trying to get to Illinois to go catch a flight. I'm on the phone for like an hour plus. I finally figure out I'm going to leave the next day, super early in the morning. I had to like rebook all my flights, pay extra money for a first class ticket, all this crazy stuff just to get there, because we'd already committed to this thing. I already had hotel reservations and everything of that sort. So abort Thursday night, wake up Friday morning at 4 a.m. I have to eat what is essentially a pregame meal to an extent, because I'm playing that night at 6:30 in Utah. I fly from 4, I get to my hotel about 2 o'clock. Again, the game is at 6:30. So I had to stay hydrated, I had to eat during this flight, but it's not a short flight. It's like flying time, I think it's roughly 4 hours plus, 4.5 hours maybe there, total flights. But that's travel and all in sitting is basically 7.5 hours. So 7.5 hours of travel, you get off the plane, you got to get food, you got to get hydrated, you got to get ready to go. I only have a guaranteed 3 games, and then I'm done. So if I want to make something of myself, I got to go do it. What's really tough and interesting about this is when you have to have a mindset of preparation and a mindset of being overly aggressive. I heard Gilbert Arenas talk about this, about Bronny James, about when in doubt, just be overly aggressive and try and score. And if someone stops you, they stop you, but play your game through aggression and not necessarily excessive decision making. So I don't know my teammates. I don't know what they do or their tendencies are. All I know is I'm out there. I flew this far. I'm going to try and play the best I can. Where the chips fall, but I don't want to be passive. I don't want to be in my feelings about, oh, they didn't pass me the ball, or I didn't get these looks, or X, Y, and Z. You want to make sure that you control what you can control. So we played the first game, the first couple possessions. I'm naturally passive the first couple possessions, trying to figure out, what we're doing offensively. We don't really talk much about it. But then I get going. I'm going to take and make my shots. And I end up having 35 that game. We play another game then at 9:30. So 6:30, then 9:30. Maybe I had 29 the first game, then 35 the second one. So I'm trying to eat food in between because it's really dry. I'm dehydrated and I'm hungry. So I'm trying to eat food and drink water between games. 9:30 to 10:30 we play. I basically get home back to the hotel. By the time it all shakes out, like I'm in bed at like 12:30. The next day our game is at 10. So I got to wake up and be at the gym by like 9:15. So I got to wake up at like 7-ish to go eat, take care of my business, shower, and get ready for the next game. And we play that game and we play another game. The big mistake I made was I was so focused on consumption of food and all that stuff, I did not take care of my body well enough. I totally basically missed out on certain stretching. I missed out on certain foam rolling, certain recovery things, which bit me in the butt when I came back home because I get back on the court. I take Sunday off. I get back on the court Monday. And I'm like, oh, I feel fine. And the next thing I'm jumping and running and I tweak something in my hamstring or something. Like very minor, but it's just like a reminder that it's because of load and demand and lack of recovery. So a very easy way to think about it is within a 24-hour period from 6:30 game, 9:30 game PM, spin around, 8 a.m. game. These are 40-minute running clocks. Even if you're just jogging for 40 minutes, this is pretty demanding. Another game at 12 p.m. So in I don't know, what is the math on that? 14 hours, and 14 hours-ish, I had 4 basketball games. I don't care if they're how intense, if they're not intense at all, that's still a lot of load on the body. Plus flight before and flight after. So right now, a couple days removed, I'm still pretty tired. And I had to take this week basically as somewhat of a recovery week. You might say, well, Max, don't take the whole time off. Well, first off, there's nothing initial demands I have coming up. Originally, my thing in December got canceled, so I'm trying to find something new to go to. It was a 3-on-3 tournament down in Phoenix. So right now I'm trying to figure out where I can play next. And this has been always a tricky battle, is where are the games at? I'm in Iowa. There's not tons of games in Iowa. I might go stop by at this league. It's an hour and a half away, go play there for a game or so. They've been really nice to invite me to come play. But then check some other stuff out as well. But I'm trying to go travel so I can play games. Which is pretty cool, by the way, that I get to travel and people support my travel. It's unbelievably awesome. Never thought that was going to be an aspect of my career. So the mistake was not taking care of my body. But what I've learned from this whole thing too is that show up. Go and do something. A lot of people want to curate their stuff and they want to fabricate their existence and they want to live within a comfortable level of risk and reality. Oh, I'm going to go play at a Lifetime Fitness where I'm comfortable playing against people who aren't going to be very competitive. And I get to, clip harvest my highlights. I don't want any of that, man. I'm too old for that. I want to go somewhere and they just torch me so bad that I have to hang them up. Right? I don't want to go and pretend of something. I want to go and do something. And that's what I really want to share about this, is when I go to these places, it's as raw as it gets. I just show up and play. And the reception of these places have been absolutely awesome. The people there have been super kind. A lot of people follow me at the tournament that I didn't know. I get to meet a lot of new people. But I'm going to show up and play. I'm not going to go and make it a certain type of way that it looks good for me. If I miss shots, I miss shots. If I make shots, I make shots. If I have turnovers, I have turnovers. And if I get beat on defense, I get beat on defense. I want to go and play. And I want to keep it as real as possible. Because making stuff up, while it might look cool and I can fool a lot of people on social media, it doesn't do me any good. This is for me. I want to know what I can do. I want to know where I can go. I want to know what I can become. And I can only do that if I do this in a real fashion. I don't want to curate it. I don't want to find certain leagues that are, oh, I know I can score a lot of points, or, oh, I know that competition isn't that great, or whatever. I want to go somewhere And I want to see what it's like to go against the best that they have. Put me in the highest division every time. I just want to experience that. I was listening to the Netflix documentary about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, and there was a side comment of one of the reporters being like, well, wouldn't it be kind of cool if you just got knocked out to say you got knocked out by Mike Tyson? Like, conceptually speaking, win or lose, Jake Paul gets to fight Mike Tyson. Now, it's obviously not Mike Tyson in his prime, but you get the idea. Willing to put yourself out there to go fail against some of the best. And that's my whole idea of this, is I want to become the best I can be. I don't want to become the best social media person I can be. I don't want to become the best YouTuber I can be. I want to be the best basketball player I can be. So I want to go play against people. And I don't necessarily want it to be a curated certain event where I can go in a comfortable setting and I might only show a couple clips of whatever pickup game and pickup run. I don't even really film or showcase our pickup runs at all. I want to go play in a tournament. I want to play with people. I want to play in a competitive setting in games. I want to be able to have stats. I want to be able to talk about those stats. I want to get better from the film that I watch. There are lots of things I still want to improve on. So right now we're still trying to find new games. I know there's a lot of stuff in the summer. All those are going to be options for me. But right now it's kind of, all right, let's regather. Let's look and evaluate how this tournament went. What are some things I want to work on off the bat? There's some counter moves, some dribble moves, some change of angle and pace moves I want to work on. Some other things I've gotten a lot better at, which is pretty cool as well. And then I'm going to go back to the drawing board, keep working, keep trying to progress, be the best that I can be. And that's why I encourage a lot of people. It's really easy when you share stuff or do stuff that we do it in a way that's mentally safe for us. Like, oh, we can coddle our own emotions and make sure that it is in a setting that makes us feel comfortable. And for me, I don't want to be in that setting. I want to be in a setting that makes me better. So Utah was a wonderful experience. I know I failed last time. I did it on Instagram. I recapped all the games. But I'll do my best to recap all of these games. 4 of them. One of the games kind of stunk. I didn't play very well, but the game itself kind of stunk, and both teams could easily agree on that. The refs just called like a million fouls, and basically I talked to the other guys on their team, and we just took turns trying to foul bait each other because it wasn't even worth taking a jump shot because the refs would literally call everything. So you just drive to the hoop and throw your arms in the air. And unfortunately, that was what you had to do to try and win. That's not, unfortunately, how I would like playing basketball, but both teams had to resort to that. We ended up winning that game. But it was a weird game nonetheless. So I'll recap all 4 games, talk about some stuff I liked and didn't like. You'll obviously be able to see them on Instagram as well. And I'll share some clips here. I have some awesome footage from one of the guys who filmed it, Story Films. Really great job, did it. The event, by the way, was, I'm wearing the shirt right here. The TS Pro-Am Sports Events. TS Sports Events, I believe, is the official name. It's an awesome place, great guys who ran it. It's a really welcoming facility and environment. So I'll keep you guys posted on it. The tournament went well. I shot well. I played well. A lot of things I've been working on, I've gotten better at. But I know I've been really bad about updating it. I really tried to document it from a standpoint of like a YouTube, follow myself around, talk about things. But it's really difficult because I'm trying to play basketball. And when I do that stuff, I lose focus. And I'd rather be focused and play basketball than try and get the most perfectly cool YouTube clip. I don't have anyone else there filming me, especially in my hotel or in the off, lifestyle things. You could come see me try and eat donuts and things like that. I should do better at it. At a certain point in time, it becomes a psychological burden of having your phone out all the time and then having to edit it all the time, and it's kind of exhausting. And that's not something I personally can do, let alone personally enjoy. So I appreciate you all. Thank you for the support. If you guys are at the tournament and you saw me, thank you again. If you ever see me around, you can say what's up and say hi. There's always chirping online and social media. People telling me I'm not very good, but the interaction in person have been nothing but kind. And I hope it stays that way because this is a positive experience. I'm not trying to prove or do anything against anyone else. I'm just trying to see if I can be good. So I find it to be pretty innocuous and benign in nature. Not necessarily that's divisioning or divisional or confrontational, because you don't really need to fall on a side. There are no sides in this event. It's just me trying to be better at basketball. So I appreciate you guys. I'll keep you all updated, and I'll do my best to get more training clips in as well because I've been bad about that. So as always, take care and hope you all enjoy these.